We want to become the next great global protein company. And if my hope and my prayer every day for Beyond Meat is that we help more life today than we did yesterday, and we'll help more tomorrow than we did today. And by life, I mean human health, I mean animals, I mean this earth. There's so much that we can do by taking protein directly from plants versus running plants to an animal. And we're just getting started.
It caramelizes and browns in a pan just like animal beef. It's like gonna blow your mind.
We're here outside the world headquarters of Beyond Meat, one of the most innovative and important companies on the planet. Fasten your seatbelts. You're gonna get a tour and find out why. To be here with the Beyond Meat founder, president, and CEO, Ethan Brown. Tell us about 4.0.
First of all, it's wonderful to have you. Thank you for all the work you do. It's great to be together again. And I remember you visited 7, 8 years ago, and it's wonderful to have you back in. So it's great.
It's dramatically transformed. Yes, I did a tour about 7 or 8 years ago. They were at a different location. It was much smaller. This is massive, and it really speaks to the power of Beyond Meat. Tell us about this newest product that's just come out.
As you know, we've had this issue where we came out of the gate very successful in terms of bringing plant-based meat to a mainstream audience, right? And that generated some resistance from primarily the incumbent industry. And they started to run advertisements and campaigns suggesting there was something wrong with plant-based meat from a health perspective. Now, that never sat right with us because we do so much research. We have a program, a 5-year program with the Stanford School of Medicine and other institutions that are showing how healthful Beyond Meat is in terms of transforming certain disease states. Now, the challenge is we don't have a big megaphone to communicate that message, right? So we said, you know what do we want to do? We're going to allow iron to sharpen iron. I love that phrase that the fiercest winds make the strongest branches. If you're under attack, you can sort of complain about it, or you can just get to work. And we decided we're going to get to work. We have an unassailable argument in terms of climate and animal welfare and natural resources, all the efficiencies. But if they're going to attack health, we're just going to become healthier. And so what we decided to do was start to renovate our core portfolio. And the Beyond 4 represents over 3 years of work to create the next iteration of Beyond Meat. And we brought in doctors and nutritionists and registered dietitians to help us craft a burger that not only tastes even better than the Beyond 3, but delivers really strong health benefits. And that includes, we dropped the saturated fat by 60%, but we also importantly swapped out the coconut oil for avocado oil. And so avocado oil is a very heart healthy oil. And so what we're allowing consumers to do now is they can really enjoy this. I eat, multiple burgers when I sit down, right? Because there's no concern, right? It has only 2 grams of saturated fat, which is not a lot in terms of your daily limit. We also brought the sodium levels down, right? So we wanted to make it unassailable. And you know what? We're going to keep going. We're going to keep making it better. But the important thing to consider is now it's been certified by the American Heart Association in recipes. Right? It has been certified by the American Diabetes Association. It's been certified by the Clean Label Project, and Good Housekeeping gave it this wonderful nutrition award. So we just keep getting better, and that's the point about Beyond 4.
This is it. This is the new Beyond Burger version 4, and I've got to tell you, the aroma is absolutely spectacular. And what's also great about it, it's made with avocado oil, which means it has 75% less saturated fat than your average burger. I mean, that right there is incredible. And it's also got 21 grams of protein per serving. So this is absolutely protein packed. And it's got a lot less salt than previous versions. So I would say this is the new superfood. Check it out. Now the moment of truth. Look at this boiga. Oh man, that looks great. Look, look, look. Okay. This is spectacular. Oh my gosh. So good. A lot of forces have tried to knock plant-based burgers, and they've really kind of done a campaign against plant-based burgers. But consumers are smart. This taste will win out. And Beyond Meat is definitely going to have the last laugh, I can tell you that. This is just superb. So let's talk a little bit about these attacks. The fact is that processed meat is officially cancer-causing, according to the World Health Organization. And yet that doesn't come up in the media coverage while they're denigrating plant-based meats that have zero cholesterol.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
So I think it gets back to the initial success of the category and of Beyond Meat, and it did create concern within the incumbent industry. And that's never really been my intention. You know, this is a very big market. We've been collaborative with meat companies, as you know. I think this is really about delivering protein to the center of the plate, and many of the meat companies that now deliver animal protein could be delivering this type of protein, right? So it's just an evolution in how we deliver protein to the center of the plate. And if you look at our process, what's so neat about it, we're taking protein directly from plants. And let's say protein in a plant presents like this, if you pull it from a fava bean or a red lentil like are in these burgers, and you run it through heating, cooling, and pressure, it resets the bonds like that so it looks more like muscle, right? That's it. That's the big process, right? So it's a very clean process. It's one that delivers protein directly from plants and doesn't run that plant material through the animal where you have to use the antibiotics and the hormones and the special lighting and the CAPOs and all these things. So it's a cleaner and more efficient process in my view that delivers protein that, by the way, is closer to the sun, because that protein was built through that process, right, of the photosynthesis, the microbes in the nodules that allow that nitrogen to be converted into amino acids we then harvest as protein.
People don't realize that the overwhelming majority of antibiotics that are produced are fed to farmed animals. Hypothetically, it's supposed to wash through their system before they're slaughtered, but there's been many exposés where there's chemicals, there's antibiotics, there's all sorts of problems with meat that are not discussed by mainstream media. So I think your argument is incredibly strong. Is there any chance that you can get some mainstream media to show your side of the story?
I think the more that we continue to affiliate with these national health organizations, there's a reason they're getting behind the products, right? There's a reason the American Heart Association, I think they're coming out with a cookbook later. There's a reason the American Diabetes Association. It's because we can help humans address issues like higher cholesterol, cardiovascular disease by reducing the levels of saturated fat and other things in animal protein that we want to avoid. And so for me, the more we get that out there with that story, I hope that the mainstream media will start to see there's two ways to get protein, at least two ways to get protein to the center of the plate. One directly from plants, the other running that plant material through the animal, slaughtering the animal, and putting that animal on the plate. We strongly believe this is the healthier way to do it. It's also the more humane way to do it. And by the way, it's terrific for climate.
You had the most successful IPO in many years when you went public in 2019. You've already made history. Where do you see Beyond Meat going in the future?
Well, it's a marathon, and I think we're learning that. It's been the last several years of running into some of this friction has just made us stronger, but it's also made us continue to focus on that 30-year horizon that we're after, which is we want to become the next great global protein company. And my view is that we can solve some of these climate issues, or at least approach reasonable solutions by transitioning our agriculture system from one that uses all that land to grow plants for animals and use a smaller portion of that land to grow plant and plant protein directly for humans. There's a terrific study that was done, I'm sure you know this, by Matthew Hayek out of NYU, and then another one that was done at Yale, which has similar conclusions, which is if you're able to reduce livestock and bring the methane levels down, because methane cycles through the atmosphere more quickly, you can more immediately start to reduce global warming. And by doing that, you also free up a lot of land that has been used for livestock. If that land were to rewild, to go back into forests, to go back into native grasses that have 14-foot root systems, we can suck carbon out of the atmosphere. The combination of those two actions, reducing the methane from livestock and allowing some of that land to go back into wilderness, could meet the UN requirements for keeping the temperature below 1.5 degrees Celsius. And there's great research on this. Now, it's not about putting farmers out of their livelihood. We should be paying those farmers to not only be, growing our food, but become stewards of climate. And that's a really important message that we have in a new film that we're doing, because we can solve this, and we can solve it in collaboration with ranchers, with farmers, with the agricultural community. They're going to make more money growing some of our crops than they would growing some of the feedstocks that they use for animals. And we can free up some of that land and make carbon credit payments to them to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So it's a win-win for everybody.
We're here now with the executive chef for Beyond Meat. They call her Chef D, Diana, and we're gonna whip up some Beyond Burger plant-based patties. This is the 4th generation with avocado oil. It's hitting stores now, and it is revolutionary. What do we got here?
Awesome, awesome. So we have the new Beyond Burger made with avocado oil, only 2 grams of fat, packed with protein, beefier, meatier, and more juicy and delicious. Always striving for perfection with our new products. So the new Beyond Burger cooks the same. It's going to be a few minutes per side. We're going to melt some plant-based cheese on it and show you a delicious burger build with the new Beyond Burger.
I've always loved every single Beyond Burger iteration. And I've had so many parties, cookouts where I've featured Beyond Burger, but it keeps getting better. So what is it about this generation, Generation 4, that is so spectacular?
Honestly, the avocado oil is really fantastic. Reduce the fat in the burger, and it just makes it really, really great nutritional label for knowing what you're eating is good for you. It's heart healthy, and it's also beefier, meatier, and more juicy and delicious. So the restaurants and all the food service establishments are going to be eating it up and loving it.
And I understand that, not that it had such a complicated ingredient list before, but it is a simpler ingredient list. Tell us about that.
Yes, all of our products are made from simple, clean ingredients, right? So we have, in this particular product, of course, the Beyond Burger, we have pea protein, we now have red lentil protein, we have fava. It's really, really packed with juicy, delicious ingredients.
Everybody, of course, wants to know, well, does it look like meat? And apparently you can use beet juice.
Sure, yeah. So we do not use any genetically modified ingredients, of course. So the color, a fantastic color that you get comes from vegetables, whether it's a purple carrot or a beet, that's how we get our colors.
I wish you guys could be here right now because the aroma is delicious. Think of the best barbecue you've ever gone to and multiply it times 10. That's what it's like here in the culinary kitchen of Beyond Meat. It's really so exciting. This is part of history, people. They're coming up with sustainable products, alternatives to animal products that are literally going to save our planet. Did you know that, published in the New York Times, Oxford University just did a study that showed that heavy meat eaters, which is pretty much most Americans, can reduce their greenhouse gas emissions footprint by a whopping 75% by switching to plant-based products? Well, guess what? That's Beyond Meat.
Cooked it for approximately about 3.5, 4 minutes. We're flipping it. Gonna add some plant-based cheese. And it's just mind-blowing how close this tastes to animal beef. 2 minutes, and it'll be ready.
Beyond Meat has other products as well, like I use the Beyond Meatballs. What about those?
Yeah, the Beyond Meatballs, actually that's one of my favorite products that we have here. I love them. There's a really complex, deep Italian flavor profile in them, and the meaty juiciness of them are fantastic. Buy them in retail, of course, and they cook up really, really quick and easy. They're fantastic. One thing I'm really excited about actually is the 4.0 bulk beef. So we're gonna have this new Beyond Burger available as ground beef. And available in the patty form. It caramelizes and browns in a pan just like animal beef. It's like gonna blow your mind. We're gonna show it to you today as well.
So let me ask you about the protein factor. First of all, nobody ever went to the doctor and came back with you suffering from a protein deficiency. But before we do that, whoa, look at this.
I'll give you a nice shot right here. Yeah, so it's going to be available in retail in the burger form or in the ground beef 1 pound brick form, which is great for making chili, tacos, lasagna. We make seasoned kebabs, like we make kofta, Middle Eastern style kebabs with it. We throw it on the grill. It's really, really versatile. It's going to blow your mind. We're checking the temperature, so we cook to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. You cook 4 minutes per side, you're going to hit it every time. We do massive amounts of cook tests and validations to make sure the product is properly cooked and thoroughly cooked. And he's pretty much right on time within 2 seconds. Yeah. So they're all going to be coming off the griddle right now. Okay, I'm publishing.
Bill Gates and Biz Stone and other notables, Leonardo DiCaprio, have supported your company. Bill Gates has said that we need to switch to synthetic meats, which is another way of saying we need to start eating Beyond Meat.
Yeah.
Is he helping you?
Bill's been amazing and extremely helpful, and you know, we've been fortunate enough to have his investment. I don't know, it began, I can't remember the exact year, but over 10 years ago. And you know, I think anybody who's thinking critically about how do we solve climate, this is a major tool that we can all take action 3 times a day to institute. So, you know, sure, electric cars and all these other things, but those are expensive. There's a long life cycle of cars on the road today, but you can wake up and say, what am I going to stand for today? Am I going to stand for making decisions that allow our climate to heal, that allow animals to be taken off the plate, that are good for my own cardiovascular system, or am I going to decide something else? And so for me, it's really that act of every time I think about the protein, I know that I can make a positive choice for the world if I go toward a plant-based protein.
What is your target for this new product in terms of, is it restaurants? Is it selling in stores? Is it hotels? Is it airlines? Where are you going to put it?
So I have a thing that I say here internally, which is every campus a Beyond campus, because I believe so much in the kids, and I go to those campuses and I love talking to them, and just to see their enthusiasm that you know, it's not hopeless. We can do something. We can all take action to help reduce the level of emissions, to help free up land, to help save animals, to help our own health. And so I see it in them in a way that I sometimes don't see it in older generations. So I really focus on younger consumers, but also with this most recent renovation, if you think about the populations that this now could become interesting to, there's 121 million people in the United States that have some form of cardiovascular disease. So if you put that against the 330 that are the total population in the US, that's a very high percentage, right? It's about 36%. And then if you look at the 40 million or so that have diabetes, that's 12% of the population. And you look about the 40 million that have high cholesterol, that's also about 40 million, so 12 and 12%. Now there's overlap among those populations, but all of them should be encouraged to eat this product. We've worked so hard on making it a really significant difference from animal protein in terms of the health benefits.
It's so healthy, obviously, compared to meat. It's 0 cholesterol. That alone.
Yeah.
Cholesterol is a leading factor in heart disease, which is America's leading killer, pandemics aside. Let me just introduce you a little bit to our audience. You have high degrees in business, and you were an environmentalist working in alternative energy. Tell us about the moment where you went on a trip to find out a little bit about soy proteins and your life changed.
Yeah, I'm very blessed to have parents that have been wonderfully generous with me in terms of helping me to think about the world. My father's a professor. He just retired from McGill. He's an emeritus there now. My mother was editor when I was growing up. And you know, we spent a ton of time at a farm we had outside the city because my dad hated being in the city. And he just wanted to get out every time he could. So I'd tag along with him, and we had actually dairy cattle at that farm when I was a kid. So I learned a lot about agriculture, but I also really enjoyed being with the animals that were in our home, as well as finding animals out in fields and rivers and in the forest. And I kind of fell in love with them. And I had trouble distinguishing as a child, like you and many, many people, why a pig, for example, is different than a dog. What's the biological basis for that? So if I'm someone who considers myself to be kind, am I just kind to dogs, or am I kind to something that looks a little bit like a dog but a little bit different? Or am I going to use the fact they look a little different to not be kind, right? So that I struggled with as a kid. Then as I got older, I went into clean energy because I care a lot about climate. And I had gone to school in the area of environmental things and stuff like that and wanted to go into climate. And I had a nice career in fuel cells, and I really enjoyed it. But there was something that was in my heart that I said, I really want to try to do something where I bring the science and technology and the idea of big investment and the best scientists and the best engineers. I want to bring it to food, because I believe you could probably, if you put enough focus on it, enough investment, you can probably build meat directly from plants, because it's these 5 things: amino acids, lipids, trace minerals and vitamins, and water, right? So it's not like it's materializing in the animal in some magical way. It's actually the same process, right? And so we can pull that directly from plants and convert it into plant-based meat. That started to fascinate me. And so I said, I gotta leave my job, I gotta go do this. And so I decided to do it. But it was the ability to marry my climate interests with my interest in health and performance and my interest in animal welfare all into one action. And I've never seen anything like that in my life, where you can focus on one thing and really impact so many things that are important.
So what are we gonna have now?
Woo, we are gonna do Beyond Steak tacos, and we are gonna do seasoned taco beef tostadas with sweet potato and black bean.
So this is 4.0 with some special spice.
Top secret spices, yeah.
Okay.
So it takes seasoning very well, just like animal beef would. All different types of range of cuisine you could use it for, and we just season it up and then cook it just like you would cook ground beef.
Let's get going.
So we can do them both. It contains fava for protein, certified by the American Heart Association, low in fat, equal grams of protein, just like animal-based steak. Juicy, meaty, delicious, incredibly versatile. You can eat it cold on salads. It takes glazes very well, like teriyaki, Korean barbecue. We're gonna cook it very simply. Sear it in a pan, takes about 4 minutes from frozen, and throw it right into a taco. Super easy. Just use a little bit of avocado or olive oil. Cook on one side about 2 minutes till it gets nice and crispy and caramelized. Give it a flip, 2 more minutes, and we're good to go. Very easy. Cooks from frozen.
That's the steak.
That's the steak.
And it comes like that, chopped up?
Yep, it comes like that, chopped up. So you have nice big pieces, almost like a skirt steak that's been diced, ready to use. Makes it easy to wrap in tortillas, put in a sub, Philly cheesesteaks, things like that. So the steak has gluten as one of the protein sources, which is what gives it that great chew. Right next to it, we're gonna go ahead and cook the 4.0 beef. So this is gonna be sold in retail. The new same exact recipe or formula that 4.0 has for burger, just sold in a 1 pound brick. So you can make pasta sauces with it. You can make chili. You can make seasoned beef for tacos. You can do a lot of different things. Meatballs, anything you want. We've just seasoned it right out of the pack with a little bit of taco spice. I'm just gonna dump it right in so you can see how easy it's gonna cook up. This guy, I'm gonna give a little flip. You're gonna see the caramelization now. You're gonna start smelling. It smells really great. Okay, and then this, just gonna break it up. Actually cooks very well in a non-stick without any oil if you'd rather. I like to have a little bit of olive oil for flavor personally. You can cook it in very, very light oil if you'd like. Again, same recipe and formula as the Beyond 4.0 burger, just in a loose form. And you'll notice how this caramelizes if you're familiar with the other Beyond burger, the 3.0, the previous one. You're gonna notice this caramelizes a little bit better, sears better, smells better, beefier, meatier, juicier. And again, you have that less fat, which is amazing. And additional protein for super, super clean ingredient label. Like red lentil, we have the brown rice, and it still contains pea protein. Okay, steak is getting nice and crispy, looks amazing. This guy is cooks very, very fast. I'm breaking it up into the sizes that I like. We're pretty much done here in about 20 seconds. Grab my tortillas. Set them up. All right. Go ahead and build some tacos. This is plant-based chipotle aioli. All right. Okay. So tomato, cilantro, lime, jalapeno. Very simple. Some red onion, radish, some cilantro, and there we go. Those guys. Then we can plate the tostada. Can bake these if you're concerned with deep frying. We've deep fried these. They bake very well in the oven too. Very simple. This is a pureed sweet potato. Basically just microwave it and then we blend it with a little bit of chipotle and agave. So it makes a nice little puree for the bottom of the tostada, holds everything together. So it's smoky, spicy, and sweet. And it holds the tostada together very nice too. So with this here, I like to add the black beans. And then we just kind of mix it together so it warms the product. And then this is cabbage, apple. We add extra jalapenos, a little bit of citrus and vinegar. And this will be our slaw that will go on top. It's already been seasoned. And then we have some avocado as well. You can see how nice it caramelizes. Looks just like animal beef. Okay. And that's pretty much it. We'll go ahead and plate a few here. So again, this is the Beyond 4.0, available in retail, sold as bulk or loose ground beef. And it's just been seasoned with taco spice, sauteed in a pan for a few minutes. And we've added beans and created a beautiful tostada.
This is gorgeous. This is like a work of art, almost too pretty to eat. Operative word, almost. I want to say thank you so much, Chef D.
Oh, our pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
All right, here we are. We're going to try the Beyond Steak. This is so good. I would love to see all Beyond Meat Burger products everywhere, in every restaurant, in every hotel, on every airline, in every supermarket. You are changing the world. You are very possibly saving our planet, and I wish you the best.
You are, and I appreciate, honestly, all the great work you do. And so Jane gave me a hat, which I wear on the weekends when I'm home. I love it. And just thank you for being such an advocate. And I look at the folks in history that were agitators, that were people that brought issues to the surface that no one else wanted to talk about. And that's how I view you.
Well, I hope to come back in a decade where Beyond Meat headquarters is even bigger than it already is, and every single person in the world is eating plant-based. Thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate you.
So great seeing you. So delicious. Wow. Amazing.